Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Look, if you want the absolute swagger of an American V8, but you secretly crave the precision engineering of a German Autobahn cruiser, well, we need to talk. Today, we're looking at the 2005 to 2010 Chrysler 300C with the 5.7 Hemi, the first-generation LX platform, the modern American rear-wheel drive V8 sedan revival, and literally the only Mopar with Mercedes E-Class rear suspension under it. It's a four-door sedan, 5.7-liter Eagle Hemi V8 with MDS cylinder deactivation, 5-speed Mercedes-sourced automatic, RWD, built at Brampton, Ontario, Canada. 6 model years, 2 power outputs, and 1 Daimler-Chrysler joint chassis lifted straight from the German parts bin. Let's hit the specs. 340 horsepower early, 360 late, 5.7 to 60, 5.7-liter Hemi, 32 grand new, 8 grand used, MDS cylinder deactivation, Mercedes W5A580 rear axle underneath, and, yeah, MDS lifter roulette baked right in. Here is the agenda for this definitive explainer. First up, who and cross shop. Second, the gems. Third, the issues. And fourth, we'll hit you with the verdict. All right, let's jump right into section 1. Who and cross shop, the target market. You know, there is a totally unique cross-section of buyers hunting for this specific American-German hybrid right now. Obviously, you've got your modern Mopar enthusiasts looking for a rear-wheel drive Hemi sedan, but crucially, you have used market value hunters zeroing in on that $5,000 to $10,000 range, plus anyone wanting that aggressive, really affordable cab-rearward American luxury sedan styling. Then you have the German chassis bargain seekers. These are the folks who know the LX platform hides a W21 rear axle for basically half the price. And finally, you've got the heritage fans chasing that 1955 letter series nostalgia, especially those out there hunting the 2006 Heritage Edition. So what else is out there in the market? Well, you could cross-shop the Lincoln Town Car from this batch, which gives you a body-on-frame Panther alternative. You might look at the Cadillac DTS in this batch, though fair warning, that invites a front-wheel drive North Star headache. You could go for a bulletproof Japanese rear-wheel drive V8 with the Infiniti M45 from this batch, or, honestly, you could just buy the German source car the 300C borrowed from in this batch, the Mercedes E550 W211. Oh, and of course, there's the sister sedan, the Dodge Charger LX, sharing the exact same Hemi. Bottom line, the 300C offers a completely unique Daimler-Chrysler value proposition. Okay, moving on to section 2, the gems, powertrain and engineering. The absolute crucial point here is understanding the phenomenal hardware you get for just a fraction of its original price. See, the LX platform is this legendary remnant of the Daimler-Chrysler era. As a buyer, you are getting premium German multi-link rear suspension hardware from the Mercedes E-Class, combined with W200 S-Class components, all secretly tucked beneath this striking American sedan body. It's kind of mind-blowing. Let's quickly walk through the critical model year changes, because there are a few. 2005 is the launch, bringing 340 horsepower to the table. 2006 introduces the Heritage Edition, which is just an amazing callback to the original 1955 C300. Now, 2007 is a massive mechanical year, where the factory valve springs were finally updated. 2008 brings the MyGIG infotainment system into the cabin. And then for 2009 and 2010, the engine was revised to push a solid 360 horsepower before the final LX year wrapped up the whole shebang. And this brilliantly illustrates the blend of the defining modern pushrod V8 revival with some serious German technology. The 5.7-liter Eagle Hemi was literally the very first overhead valve V8 in a production car to feature cylinder deactivation. It shuts down 4 cylinders under light loads while still delivering 390 pound-feet of torque early on and 389 pound-feet on the revised models. Plus, that engine is bolted directly to a Mercedes-sourced 5-speed 5G-tronic automatic transmission. The cross-pollination even makes it right into the cabin, with a Chrysler-Mercedes joint dashboard design complete with wood trim and, on some trims, paddle shifters. Now, check out this massive depreciation curve. This car had a launch MSRP of $32,995, and that climbed to over $40,140 by 2010. Today, you are looking at a bargain entry price of $4,000 to $14,000 in the used market. Plus, because it shares parts with the Dodge Charger, your basic repair costs are actually super manageable. Bottom line, it's a sub-6-second 0 to 60 RW powerhouse for $8,000 used. All right, time for section 3, the issues. Deal-breaking flaws. Let's watch how this builds into the dramatic, mechanical tension every single 300C buyer has to face.
The defining flaw of the 5.7 Hemi is the lifter failure caused by the multi-displacement system. Here is the fatal cascade. First, the roller bearings on the MDS lifters seize up. Second, that seized bearing just grinds against the camshaft, causing complete lobe destruction. Third, a simple ticking noise escalates into a heavy metallic knock. And fourth, you are looking at a complete engine rebuild. And while this is most common on the 2009 Plus revisions, make no mistake, it affects all years. If you ignore that persistent metallic tick, you are on the hook for a catastrophic $5,000 to $8,000 complete engine rebuild. Yikes. However, there is a highly recommended community fix. You completely delete the MDS system by installing standard non-MDS lifters, a standard camshaft, and tuning the PCM to disable the system altogether. You permanently solve the problem for roughly $1,500 to $3,000. Definitely the way to go.
Now, for the used market hunters looking at the early models, listen very closely. 2003 to 2007 Hemi engines suffer from press-fit valve seats that can literally drop out of the cylinder head entirely and fall straight into the combustion chamber. No way you want that. They also suffer from incredibly weak valve springs. You absolutely must verify that pre-2007 cars have had their valve springs updated to the 2007 Plus specification to avoid instant engine destruction. It's absolutely crucial.
Let's quickly rattle off the moderate and minor issues. You'll see MDS solenoid failures throwing P3497 codes that put the car straight into limp mode. The 5G-tronic transmission can suffer from valve body fluid contamination. Watch out for electronic shifter failures, water pump failures, and those premium Mercedes-sourced rear bushings frequently wearing out right around the 100,000-mile mark. Also keep an eye out for minor annoyances like sticky soft-touch plastics, rock-vulnerable AC condensers, MyGIG screen failures, paint chip-prone hoods, leather bolster wear, and outdated navigation DVDs. Bottom line, the mechanical roulette on a neglected 300C will instantly bankrupt you.
Finally, Section 4. Buy or buy? We've seen the specs, the gems, and the fatal flaws, so it's time for the definitive answer. Verdict? Maybe. Let me clearly outline exactly what makes it a buy and what makes it an instant buy. It's a buy if you find a 2007 to 2010 model, ideally a Heritage Edition or SRT-Design, under $12,000, with a documented MDS lifter delete, including non-MDS lifters and a tune. You also want to see the 5G-tronic transmission recently serviced, the water pump replaced in the last 30,000 miles, and absolutely zero metallic valve train tick on your test drive. Maybe a clean 2005 or 2006 base 5.7, under $7,000, but only if the valve springs are already updated to the 2007 spec. However, it is an instant buy if there is any persistent metallic ticking from the engine, which means active MDS lifter failure is pending. Say bye to any pre-2007 with no valve spring update, any transmission shudder, or any coolant loss, period. Look, you could cross-shop the Lincoln Town Car from this batch for less complex American luxury, or buy the Infiniti M45 from this batch for a bolt-proof alternative. But the 300C is the only one with that chrome egg crate Mopar styling and W211 rear suspension underneath. It gives you that aggressive Hemi engine note, paddle shifters, and MyGIG infotainment. Bottom line, it's a massive mechanical gamble, but the payoff is an iconic modern classic. So, the final question is, are you ready for the Hemi?